Something bizarre is happening outside.
I just went away from us. He was way too interested. Lucky he came right up. That's how I noticed him. A pat on the dash, that's all it needs.
And it's closed. As you can see, seasonal closure, we've got the bottom pool closed, but we are going to go to the top pool where we can swim. I definitely would feel a little bit nervous swimming in this, to be honest. Like, it's massive and it's dark. And obviously right now it's closed, so I don't know if maybe when you're allowed to swim it's a bit clearer, but it reminds me a bit of like Wongai Falls, just dark and big and ominous. Get your best hiking shoes on. Such a good swim and a great reward after a little bit of a hike. The sign said that it would take an hour to do that. It was 1.6 k's. It took us about 40 minutes from the lower pool to get to the top one. And then instead of going back the way you came, if you turn around and you go up the stairs, there's like green stairs, it's a 1 kilometre track back to the car park if you want a little shortcut. But if you want to do the full 1.6 again and just go back the way you came, you can of course do that.
Okay, we've just turned off the Victoria Highway onto the Buchanan Highway, which is of course dirt. We're gonna drop these pressures down a little bit. It's not really corrugated, just gravelly, so we'll just give them a bit of love, and that way we won't be blowing tyres and having to replace them in the heat. It's hotter than forecast, hotter than expected. 37 right now, it's supposed to be 30. So let's get this done. We're heading down the track now, and I've just pulled over to check the load a bit. Just want to particularly make sure, because we've got a fully stocked fridge and cupboards at the moment, being that we are going off-grid, that nothing's flung open in there. The last thing you want is like all our meat and everything just roll around the floor, and then, you know, obviously that's going to take a long time off its life and we need to eat it. There's not many shops out here, but it's looking all good. I'm happy with this. Let's keep rocking. Well folks, welcome to here. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to. That seems less offensive to me. Made it in unscathed. Absolutely beautiful drive, beautiful road. You can tell that it'd be a pig of a thing if it got wet, but luckily for us, it is as dry can be. Now we're here just in time for a gorgeous sunset over to the west, and I am thinking that we're gonna get the fire going. Not because it's cold, because as I said before, it's still 30, well, it's now about 34 degrees, but because I want to cook, and these fireplaces are beautiful, and they've got some really nice amenities for cooking on them, so it would be silly not to, I think. Now, speaking of food, one thing we did before this trip, and that we do before a lot of trips, is obviously prepared. Now, for food, we did that by heading into the local butcher, which you can, obviously, they're everywhere. And we got about a week and a half's worth of meat for this run until we get to Kununurra, and we got it all cryovac. So that's going to be great for us. We've got a whole assortment of meat. Obviously when you buy it in bulk, it's a lot cheaper, and when it's cryovac, it lasts a lot longer, which is great for being out here in the bush. So we will check the inventory. I'll check with the minister for, well, I won't call the Minister for War and Finance because we love her. I'll check with my gorgeous woman, see what she wants for dinner, and then hopefully we can cook something on here. Or maybe I'll just stay tomorrow night and then we can cook that night. Because sometimes Jess has a plan for dinner and you don't want to get in the way of that. Good morning folks. Today is an exciting day because we're actually going to do something a little bit different. We're going to chuck Jess behind the wheel of the big rig here, head out to an old homestead and tackle a four-wheel drive track on the way. So it's be a great learning experience for Jess. More time behind the wheel of the Ranger is always a good thing, especially when it's on the red dirt. So very, very exciting. One little thing is, probably cut it a bit late. It's about 11 o'clock now, and you know, with filming and taking pictures and just taking in the scenery, it could take a little bit longer. We have a meeting at 2 o'clock today, so I think I'm going to pack the Starlink into the ute and a laptop, and we might knock that meeting over Josh Leonard style in the homestead in the middle of the Outback. So let's get to that.
So when I'm driving Josh's ute, it's a little bit like when you're still studying for your L's and someone has something to say every 2 seconds about everything that I'm doing. So it's a bit nerve-wracking for me. I feel the pressure to perform. However, Josh has just said...
I said off camera, so there was no proof of it, that you can expect me to just shut up today unless I really need to interject.
That would be glorious.
My biggest things out here are safety. So
And I am safer than you, I want to say.
So my biggest things out here are safety. And it's not just about our safety. The safety of the rig out here is imperative because it directly correlates actually to our safety, but also the safety of the rest of our trip. So touring is very different to just hitting the tracks on the weekend, because we have to get this rig in and we have to get it back out, and it has to perform just as well as it did before the track. So that's the real test, and that's what I mean about safety out here. We've got all the supplies in the world. We can fix almost anything, but we don't want to have to do that. And what we really can't fix is sheared and broken metal. That's just beyond my skill set out here without a welder, without the tools. So we just take it easy. And I have also said, I think, you know, Jess especially, but females probably particularly, they design, hear me out, some of the best thought out four-wheel drives I've ever seen. If you look at any rig that a properly built rig that a Sheila's done, it is always just full of things that blokes didn't think of. And that also comes into the driving as well. I think inherently girls are safer off-road. They are generally going slow, which is what four-wheel driving calls for. And so they make, I think, a better, well-rounded driver, especially when it comes to touring. That's just my opinion. So it's very cool to be out here. We're doing this with Jess. I'm not too worried about anything other than stuff that we just, you know, the situations where it calls for a lot of experience and you're thrown in there very, very quickly. There's only room for one person to drive, so she's the driver, she's in charge today.
And let's be real, ladies, the four-wheel drive space is a blokes club, so it is always nice to see women in the driving seat. And I have to agree, I think that women are a bit more risk averse. I'm definitely a lot slower on the tracks than Josh is, but that also comes down to the fact that I don't have as much experience. I'm not as confident in my my line choosing and my ability to tackle changing terrains. My confidence is definitely not that high yet, so I do take it slower. But I personally don't understand a lot to do with the mechanic side, so I try to take care of the ute in the best way that I can, and sometimes I make mistakes, and that's why he's here.
A pat on the dash, that's all it needs. Timber Creek and then down the Belita.
POV, drive to the track and it's closed. Love that. We're currently assessing the map to see where we can go instead. Annoying, because we did actually only stay because there were so many cool four-wheel drive tracks here that we wanted to do. Obviously we're going to respect the sign, but fingers crossed the next one we get to is open.
Sit rep. We are now in Timber Creek, not on a four-wheel drive track. Yesterday when I checked them it was open, and now it's not, so I couldn't find anything up today online. Went to the ranger station here and also just replenished fuel stocks, and they've said that they're about to start burning literally in a couple of hours, so all of those four-wheel drive tracks south of where we are, where we wanted to go, are going to be closed for today and the next few days. We have a couple of hour window that I've sweet talked the rangers into, where they're going to let us head out to Belita Homestead still. They would just wanted to know that we were going to be out before they started sparking anything up, and we will be. So that's all good kind of them, so we're going to go do that. I'm just going to mile munch this for Jess and we'll cannonball out there, and then she's going to get back behind the wheel and start getting all sorts crossed up hopefully. So let's see how that goes.
So as presumed, it's meeting time, and all the running around everywhere today kind of ate into our time. So as predicted, Josh is currently setting up the Starlink while we're at the homestead. We're just gonna have the meeting by the ute, but if this isn't outback living, I don't know what is. Who needs a real office when you've got Starlink, am I right?
And a fridge with cool drinks in it.
Yeah, it's not roughing it at all.
It's really not. I was going to go sit on that really gross chair over there with a really bad view. And
Oh, you're being sarcastic.
yes.
Great spot to have a meeting. Night 2 at our campsite, and we already have the fire going because we are going to cook some steaks over the campfire tonight, which is always a luxury. So we're cooking dinner a little bit early just so we can do that with some natural light and not attract 10 million bugs. Also, does anyone else feel like right before the sun goes down, the flies get the zoomies? So you know, like when you're going to bed and, I don't know, maybe it's just me, you just get this burst of energy, like the last reserve of the day that you have to use up. I reckon flies get the same thing because it's always right at this time when all the beautiful colors are in the sky and you just want to be outside enjoying yourself. And Fly City, as you can probably see if the GoPro is showing them, buzzing around my face. But isn't it such a cool luxury to have a whole campground to yourself? And this is just, I guess, another reason why shoulder season is our favorite. And although you will have the situation that we had today where things aren't open, and I did want to actually just share a bit of intel. So when Josh went to the ranger station, they did say you guys are about a month early, so we missed out, so you guys don't have to. So we got the intel for you. If you want to come here and do all the cool four-wheel drive tracks, you're probably going to want to get here about June, July just to be safe, because they are still doing their burning for another month here. And at the moment, as we saw on the sign today, they're all closed. So write that down for your travel plans. I'm in my pajamas with my night guard in. Did I ever think I'd be putting myself on YouTube like this? No, I didn't, but something bizarre is happening outside. Josh yells out to me. He's sitting outside, I'm inside watching TV. He goes, "Jess, what is this animal?" And I look outside. You know, there's a bull outside. Josh is currently trying to scare it away with the ute because I don't know if you guys have ever come face to face with a bull. It's quite terrifying. Initially we weren't sure if it was a cow or a buffalo. I don't know if you can hear the ute. It's definitely a bull, and that's kind of terrifying, and not something that you want near you. So I think Josh is herding it away right now. Ute versus bull. Let's hope he leaves. Is he gone?
Not far enough. The Ranger with a 3-inch exhaust did scare it off a bit. A bull at night is not something I want to be messing around with too much. I just want it away from us. He was way too interested. Lucky he came right up. That's how I noticed him. It's bizarre. Like all I heard was like crunching in the bush, and then it was just like, yeah, shine the light out and just see these two beady things staring back at me. And he was doing that noise, you know, the noise that bulls do when they're like angry and they're about to charge. But how good's having a big ranger to just scare them off with? I like that. I felt like I was on a station or something. Alright, I'm going back to my campfire, back to sit with the ute, make sure it's safe.
Okay, keep the light on.
Oh no. Oh yeah, it reminds me of that. I'll turn it off, save battery. Do the opposite of what your missus says. It makes them really happy.
And when there's a bull outside sitting in the dark. Yeah. Great idea.
If I can't see him, Jess, he can't see me. It's just physics.